guys. Well, hello and welcome to Brainstorming and Writing with Clicker. My name is Tony Caggiano. I am the U.S. Sales Manager here at Crick Software, but I am also responsible for looking after everyone in Washington. So I see some familiar names in the audience. So it's exciting to see some of our current collaborators here to learn a bit more. The session today is primarily focused on brainstorming. Of course, we're going to talk about writing, but we have so many different sessions on supporting writing as a whole that I really wanted to dig into that brainstorming piece. In terms of the learning objectives, I'm hoping that you guys will leave understanding and being able to identify two clicker features that will support both brainstorming and writing. And then I'm also hoping that you will be able to successfully explore our pre-made materials through the Learning Grids library that support brainstorming and writing. We're going to take about an hour today to move through this content. If there are questions, please pop those into the chat. I'm very happy to address those throughout the course of the session. So it looks like a lot, but that's really because we have so much to support brainstorming and writing here in Clicker. I'm going to get into Intro to Clicker. I know that some of you have been in sessions like this before. You know what Clicker is, but we need to get everybody up to speed. We're going to take a minute to look at Learning Grids because, of course, all of the materials that I will show you today can be accessed through our curriculum-based resource bank. And we're going to get into some of our Clicker tools, including voice notes and word prediction. Clicker Board, which is our graphic organizer. And we are going to spend some time on our writing frames and planners. In terms of Clicker features, I want to finish with our talk sets, which I think are fantastic for brainstorming to support our speaking and our more verbally confident students with their brainstorming in preparation for writing. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a trial opportunity that is made available through collaboration between Crick Software and SETC. Again, if there's any questions, please pop those in the chat. If you're just getting here, this session is going to be recorded for later viewing. So if you've been in some sessions with us before, you've seen this slide, but I want to make sure that everyone is up to speed on exactly what Clicker is. So Clicker is a writing solution. We offer a speech-supported word processor here with Clicker, and you're able to provide every student with a tailored education experience. We are able to adjust settings and everything that is available in Clicker to meet specific needs. And with that said, it's designed with UDL in mind. We are looking to support all learners and ensure that they're getting exactly what they need when it comes to their writing experience. Like I said, this is a supportive word processor, and we're providing resources to support the full writing process. So we offer reading, writing, speaking, and listening activities. But when it comes to the writing process, here today, we're talking about planning and writing. With that comes revising. So we really like to think of Clicker as a one-stop shop for when it comes to the writing process. We're going to talk about alternate forms of expression today with our Clicker board. And again, everything is customizable from what you're providing in terms of actual writing support, the supports that are provided, the different sets that we could customize, the different writing activities, as well as the setting. So you'll hear Clicker speak. We could tailor the voice. Clicker is eye gaze and switch accessible. So if we have learners who are requiring different access excuse me, if we have learners who are accessing Clicker in different ways, we could support those kiddos. And we are compatible with Windows or Mac computers, as well as iPads and Chromebooks. I'm showing you Clicker on the computer today, but everything that I show you today is available through the iPad and Chromebook apps. Jessica, I know you said you're using an iPad. If you're using an iPad or Chromebook, we have a suite of apps, and those apps are Clicker Writer, Clicker Books, and Clicker Talk. So I'll try to make note today of what I'm showing you here in Clicker on the computer, how that could be accessed through the iPad and Chromebook. If you guys still have questions about that after, you'll have plenty of opportunity to chat with me. Moving on to learning grids. So I want to start here because many people get started with Clicker through learning grids, whether you're looking to support brainstorming and writing, as the session states today. If you're looking to get started with books, if you're looking to get started with supporting emergent writers, more independent writers, the place to start is with learning grids, because what we're providing you guys with are professionally made resources that are available once you have Clicker. These are available with your subscription or with your trial. So to access learning grids, you're going to come up into the left-hand corner here and then into learning grids resources. Okay, so what we have in learning grids, you can see that we offer all of the different curriculum topics here at the top. We could search by topic word or Clicker resources. These are the different sets or activities that we offer to support the writing process here in Clicker. And as this slide says, these are professionally made. So this is not a forum. These are made by our curriculum team that were all previous educators. And I think this is a good point to say that if you're brand new to Clicker and you're sitting in here thinking, okay, well, she's talking about curriculum resources. Clicker is not a curriculum, it's a curriculum tool. So it is a way to deliver differentiated instruction to learners. And we're providing you with materials that we know that typically I would say K through 6 classrooms are teaching to. So when you come into math, we have about K through 6 math resources when it comes to writing about math. When it comes to science, we're focused on K through 6. And we do not support any one curriculum because, as you guys know, curriculum can change district to district, state to state, and we work with everybody all over the world. So we're trying to provide you guys, again, with a place to start and get started with these resources. When we upload to learning grids, we upload in what I call topic packs. So you guys will see, yes, we have over 3,300 resources, but you'll notice that I am is the title of many of these resources as we're scrolling. So what we're providing here is a comprehensive and pre-differentiated topic pack, because we know that so many classrooms and so many groups are we have students at such a wide range. We might have an emergent writer, we might have an independent writer, and we might have a kiddo who falls somewhere in between. So with this most recent topic that we uploaded, which is I Am, it's a sentence stem resource. We have several books. We have a Connect set. We have a word bank with picture support. We have matching sets. And the idea here is that you will have a place to get started no matter the levels of learners in your class. I start here with these resources because yes, one, it is a great place to get started with Clicker, but all of the different resources that I'm going to show you today come from Learning Grids. Only one of them I made myself and I edited, and that one will be very clear when I get to it. So I'm going to say it's about 10 resources. I made one, so 90% of the resources you're going to see today. Once you get access to Clicker, or if you already have access to Clicker, you could use following this session. Now that all of that is out of the way, we have set the scene with Intro to Clicker and Learning Grids for getting started with our curriculum-based resources. I want to start talking about brainstorming. So the first place I want to start with brainstorming and getting students ready for writing, getting their thoughts out and down is with voice notes. I'm going to start and finish with voice notes, and these are going to be for our speaking students. We have plenty of resources for our non-speaking friends. But this is a staple and backbone feature in Clicker available for both teachers and students. And I'm going to talk about them in both contexts here. So I'm going to come into my document. This is one of the many places that the voice note is available. I select this and I have the ability to record my voice. So what this can do is allow for students to freeform and get their thoughts out prior to writing. It's going to give them a place to get all of that out before they're expected to sit with that blank page and start typing or writing out the content related to their writing. With the voice note, we're able to create logically coherent documents. So what that means is we can add several of those to a document. So when I come into our voice notes here and I create one very quickly, these pop right into the document. We can have up to 6 of these in a document at a minute in length each. So this allows for students to brainstorm or tackle a larger piece of writing based on these different options. We could come in and add another one. And these sit with the document. So maybe this first voice note is what they're brainstorming related to the introduction. The second voice note is their first paragraph, or maybe we're brainstorming our first sentence. You're able to do whatever you want with the voice note. I start here because these are available in all different aspects of Clicker. They're available in the Clicker document, as I just showed you. That's where we're doing our writing. They're available in the Clicker boards. I'm in a Clicker board right now, but our Clicker boards are simply our graphic organizers. As you can see right here, this is a voice note. I have the ability to record here. They're available in our Clicker books as well as our talk sets. So where we have students who are nervous to get writing, they don't know how to actually start with that writing, but they're happy to talk about what they want to write about. This is a great place to capture those thoughts prior to asking them to jot them down in a concrete way. I'm going to move on now to our word prediction. I'm starting with our document features, but again, I want you guys to understand these features, these tools are available in the different aspects of Clicker. So the Clicker document is here and we have access to our word prediction. But if I want to go back into my Clicker board, which is right here, I also have access to word prediction here in my Clicker board or my graphic organizer. So let me pop that out. As you could see here, we have the option for first word, next word, and phonetic word prediction. So we could see that at play here. You could see that it's picture supported. And our word prediction is, yes, of course, going to keep students writing, but I think this is great for brainstorming because we might have students who, again, they're very nervous about that blank page. They don't know where to start because they're intimidated by the blank page. We have plenty of resources that are going to combat that and help them keep writing. So back into the document I go with my word prediction on. We're immediately giving them a place to start. So turning this off, I have no idea what I could possibly write about. As soon as I turn it on, it's giving me a place to start. So I could start with the, and then, oop, I have a couple ideas for what I can continue writing about. It's picture supported. So maybe they weren't sure what they wanted to write about, but now they see a woman, they're thinking about their mom. We can encourage them to continue writing and to just start somewhere with our word prediction. And again, these options are available throughout the different sets or activities that are available in Clicker. I think the word prediction also supports the planning and drafting of written work. So here I am in my Clicker board. We're about to get into several examples of Clicker board, but we have access to that word prediction here. If we're
Hey,
drafting,
Tony,
yes,
for me, I don't see your, oh, I see your slide now. Sorry to interrupt. Is
it's okay.
everybody seeing the slide deck still? It was user error.
It's okay. It's okay. Um, so if we're drafting, if we have misspellings in our piece of work, we of course have spell check here in Clicker, but the word prediction works with that as well. It's going to support correct spellings. And again, this is available in the Clicker document, as I've shown you, in our Clicker boards, as I've also shown you, our Clicker books, and anywhere that you could write. Moving on to Clicker board, which graphic organizers, of course, this is a staple go-to for any kind of brainstorming. So we have many, many options when it comes to Clicker board, and I've jotted some of these down, but I'm going to show you several examples of Clicker board that support, yes, brainstorming, but also writing. So as you can see here, what do we have in this big Clicker board? We have the option for templates. So through Learning Grids, we have 355 Clicker boards. Many of these are tied to a topic. So for example, weather, come into this, let that load up. This is, for now, tied to windy weather. I can very easily come in and make this about literally anything else. Maybe a feeling. Let's go with cool instead of angry. We want to talk about our feelings and what we need to do to feel cool. Anything in Learning Grids can be a template. We also have standard templates for you with our planning boards. I did that very quickly. Into Clicker Set, into New. This is where you would make any of your own resources from scratch. But with planning boards, as well as our books, we're giving you a place to start. So you could see we have the blank. If you want to come in here and make your own beautiful creation, you could do that. And then we have several different templates that we know folks would expect to see if we're offering a graphic organizer. So these give you templates to start with. You have the option to create your own, as I just showed you. I'm going to pop in here some of the tools that you have access to when it comes to building a Clicker board. On this side, you have your different components. So we've talked about the voice note. We could pop one of those in here. And then we have all of our different shapes. So if we want to customize this, we can. You have several options for color. any piece of this can be changed around, the cell, the text, the border. If you're looking to create high contrast and we want to make this red font or yellow font on a black background, we can do that to support learners with visual needs. And then you also have options for pictures. I came into the CricPix library before, but I think it's worth mentioning with both a paid for and a trial subscription, you get access to the CricPix library. This is about, we're pushing 5,000 images here, and these are all illustrated images on different curriculum topics, as well as you saw that we had our emojis, we had pictures of students and people, things that we would expect kiddos to want to incorporate into their writing. So obviously Clickerboard is great for planning. I'm going to show you a couple examples of that. We have access to our voice notes. I have not yet used my speech support, but I'm certainly going to. I'm trying to fight with the Zoom toolbar.
Clickerboard.
Hopefully you guys heard that because I shared my sound. Everything in Clickerboard and everything in Clicker is speech supported. As you guys can see, I'm using Clickerboard to present right now. I am in a Clickerboard. So this can be used for presentations. We have access to our word prediction. We have access to picture support. Our Clickerboard can be used for as a whole class teaching tool, small group teaching tool, and it can also be exported to be used in different aspects of Clicker. So the Clickerboard, while great for planning, is very versatile, but we're about to get into some examples of using Clickerboard for planning. I do see that there's a question, so I just want to thank you for that, Kristen. I wanted to make sure. You never know if you shared your sound or not. Okay, so we're going to get into some examples of Clickerboard that I think are great to get started with, great for planning. And everything that I'm about to show you is available through Learning Grids. So we're going to start here with something very basic. This is the I am sentences or sentence pattern Clickerboard. So this can be used in a whole class, small group, or individual use setting where this is provided to students and we're asking them about what they are. We could say, I am happy. You could see my word prediction kicked right on here. I am excited. I'm presenting for you guys. You can see my picture supported word prediction here. And again, I love the idea of using Clickerboard to start an activity. So you guys saw that whole topic pack of I am. We had books, we had all the writing materials. We could start a lesson, a topic with our Clickerboard. We have this at the start of our lesson. All right, guys, what are we today? We could be calling around the room. What are you? We get students real-time feedback, and we could give that back to them. So in this instance, we've gotten a couple different options. Maybe I also want to, I'm going to turn off my word prediction. We have students who maybe aren't the strongest writers, but they use their images and they are good. Okay, this is what they want to contribute to the lesson. We're at a point where we've done the intro. We know that students are contributing, but we want to get to a writing point. This is brainstorming and writing. We've brainstormed with the Clickerboard. Now we want to do some writing. So one of the powerful options in Clickerboard is the ability to give this back to students after they have brainstormed, whether that's as a group or individually for their writing. So this icon right here allows for the export of this content. And I can send this to the document as a diagram, as text, or as a word bank. So if I just want to put this in the document as an image, I could send it as as a diagram. Okay, so now I could have students
I am happy.
writing with this as a reference image. I could send this as text, and I'm going to just use this one. And now this is more of an outline. So this is great for where students might be using Clickerboard to practice or study for an exam. They're writing out everything that they know. We want to get that over to the document so they could repurpose it. We can
Happy.
pop that sentence stem on to all of these.
I am thrilled.
There we go. And then we could add our sentences to get our speech feedback. But one of the really powerful pieces here is the ability to send this over to the document as a word bank. So we have our sentence starter. Let's click out. There we go. Our sentence starter, clicking out of where we are in that sentence, and we're giving the student back what they have brainstormed. So this is a big part of how Clicker can support students. They might not know where to start. Again, that blank page dread, not knowing where to start. If we're asking them in a way that makes sense to them, we're engaging with them and saying, hey, what in this instance, what are you? What do you know about this topic? And they're rattling off what they know because they're able to do that. Or maybe they're using their AAC device to incorporate what they know, and they're telling you that. You could put that into this Clickerboard and then give it back to them to be able to write with. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that again in just a bit. Let's clear this out. So that's one option for a pretty simple Clickerboard. This is one of our learning grids, but this is also mimicking one of our templates. Moving right along here. Okay, so bug in a bin. This is a sequencing activity for one of our recent uploads. It's a CVC focused on our short vowel sounds. It's a full topic. This is a Clickerboard, but this allows for the support of sequencing. So we see what is we see the order of the story, and then students are able to speak that back. This kind of mimics a talk set. I have included this. I recently worked with or am working with a special school in Brooklyn. And this special school is serving students with complex bodies. They are all switch or eye gaze users. And most of them have visual needs, and they are trying to support predictable chart writing and get the students familiar with predictable chart writing. And if you guys know, these are the different steps of predictable chart writing, and this is a good use of Clickerboard. But I wanted to share this because with predictable chart writing, you're doing some brainstorming together. And talking with students about what they know about a sentence stem. So I wanted to include this also to show that you could support visual needs. I'm going to check no questions. Moving right along, we're getting through all of our Clickerboards here. Okay, again, for brainstorming, we want to brainstorm, of course, for successful writing, but also successful language and language that is robust. And this here is our shades of meaning adjectives Clickerboard. I think this is also a great example of where we could repurpose the content. So with this one, the idea is that we're working from a pretty standard word. We're obviously trying to find the adjectives, but we're going from more simple vocabulary to something that is a little bit more expansive. So some of my words could be moved around, like maybe unfortunate should have been this last one, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of what this can look like as a excuse me, a word bank. So again, this could be done individually. This can be done as a group. We're working on adjectives and we want to push this out for writing to ensure that students are given great words, $10 words to write with. So again, I pre-filled this piece in, but the words at the top looked like this when I downloaded this. And this is a great example of where we can export this as a word bank. And now we have all of these great $10 words in tandem with their synonyms. This can be moved around and manipulated. So if I want to come into edit and I want to put some of those initial words together, I can do that. I could play around with the colors. I can make this larger. We can insert sentence stems, but this is a standard word bank. I love the idea of being able to give it back to the kids. So if we're asking them to brainstorm and to put all of their ideas out there, but we're doing that on a piece of paper, of course they could reference it. Here with Clicker, you're immediately repurposing what's been typed, and they can do the same. Just want to check for any questions. Keep me posted if you guys have questions or if you have any examples of how you're using Clicker with brainstorming, any ideas on how you guys are using Clicker for brainstorming and writing, or Clicker board. Let's see here. This last one I want to show, I mentioned early on that we would talk about Clicker for alternate forms of assessment and engagement. So this here is a Clicker board. And the same way I am using Clicker board for my slide deck, I like the idea of using Clicker board, yes, to brainstorm for a project, but to produce a project. And this is an example of that here. We have the project topic, their diet, their threats, their habitat, the ability to incorporate our voice note, and then the different facts. When we think about a project like this and we give students just this to get started, this can kind of look like that blank page. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know about the green sea turtle habitat. Giving them the voice note is going to allow them to get out what they do know verbally. Okay, at this point, I want to move to our frames and planners. So we've talked a bit about brainstorming. We've talked about the voice note prediction and Clicker board, different ways that Clicker board can be used, not just for brainstorming, but all different ways. The writing frames and planners, I think, are one of the key components that speak to brainstorming and writing with Clicker. So this is yet another example of eliminating that dread when it comes to starting with a blank page. But here we're able to provide students with structure prior to beginning an assignment by telling them exactly what we're looking for, and also a space to engage with what we're looking for. And we could also provide them with sentence stems and starters. So the example that I have is the advertisement planner. And as you can see here, this gives us the opportunity to brainstorm our advertisement, and we have all the different pieces of what an advertisement would need. So we have our product name, the audience, slogan, benefits, all of these different pieces. Now, what we could do is fill this out and export it as I've shown you guys. But with the frames and planners that we have in Learning Grids, we pair these. So into English Language Arts and Writing Frames and Planners, the first one at the top here is our advertisement planner as well as our frame. We scroll down, we scroll down, we scroll down. We have our decision-making planner as well as the frame. The writing frames are some of my favorite resources in Clicker. I think these are fantastic. I think back to when I was in school and not knowing where to start. I had no idea where to start. You couldn't shut me up. But I didn't know where to start with my writing, and to have a frame that's supporting the structure of writing, but just simple sentence stems to get you started with something related to a specific type of writing really could change the game for some students. I like this one specifically because if the student fills this out and we put this, we export it to the document, as you've seen us do a couple times, we can then add that here in product vocabulary. So anything that the student produces, we could go in and edit this down to incorporate what they've produced in their writing frame. I again just want to jump into learning grids because we have several of these. If I look up planner, we have 43 planners. We have these related to specific stories, like What If Story. That is one of the stories in our story corner. We have all of the like general planners, fable story, discussion planner. And we also have these around specifics. Go down just a little bit more here, Saving Wilbur, for example. So related to specific stories or types of writing. I also want to provide just a couple more examples of the writing frames. The book review frame, this is one of my favorites as well. With the writing frames, we're providing sentence starters. We are giving students the sentence starters related to a piece of their writing. So with this book review frame specifically, we are giving sentence starters related to the introduction, the storyline, the characters, and so on. This one specifically has vocabulary words related to a book review. You could, of course, come in and edit this to add another grid that is related perhaps to the vocabulary of the book that they're reading. So again, completely customizable. All of this could be picture supported. So I love the book review specifically, but the frames. And then we also have our informal letter frame. So I showed the advertisement piece, and I know that for some of you, maybe your students aren't working on something like that. The writing frames and planners kind of support all different kinds of writing as well as levels of learners. So this is what this looks like. Okay. And back into my slide deck here. I want to finally, before we talk about the clicker trial as well as continued support, I want to talk about the talk sets. So we already talked about the voice note, and the talk set kind of brings the voice note to life and gives it a different purpose. So we have different kinds of talk sets. We have the listen and say, the tell the story, and the talk about. And I think for brainstorming, the talk about is especially pertinent. These allow for the development of vocabulary, allow students to build confidence. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I think where we have students who, our friends who are speaking and they don't know where to begin, but they have a lot to say, the talk set is going to give them a free form, errorless place to get that information and those ideas out. And this can also act as an alternate form of assessment. So once again, into learning grids. If I clear my search here, you guys will see that we have almost 350 talk sets. And we typically upload several per topic. So for example, Bug in a Bin, we have the Tell the Story as well as the Listen and Say. But when it comes to the Talk About, we have several of these. We have, it says 908. But I think that's a little misleading. I think if we have 300 and almost 50 talk sets, I would say about a third of those are talk about activities. So I've opened up a couple of these and talk about volcanoes. I love these images. We come in and we have 6 opportunities to record about volcanoes. So again, if I am assigned a task or a project to write about volcanoes, it could be very helpful to begin by talking about what I know about volcanoes. I can read a book about volcanoes and then hold the facts that I've learned verbally here. And with this one, you have up to 6 voice notes, and we can record those tied to this picture. Moving along, all of the materials that we have are cross-curricular. So here we have plenty of materials on branches of the government, and this is related to those 3 branches. We could come in, and if we're asked to write an assignment on the branches of the government, we could get started here by talking about what it is we know in this free-form, error-free space. And then finally, we have our creature features. So this is a really fun and exciting topic that we have in learning grids, talking about all the different features that different creatures have. This one gets great response from our kiddos. But this one, same thing. We could read the book about creature features, but prior to writing, we could come in and brainstorm and talk about what it is that we learned in that book prior to our writing assignment. I strategically left out some of our more, we focused a bit on word banks today. So I strategically left out some of the more emergent writing supports because we have an entire session on supporting emergent writers. We have a recorded session through SETC. Rose and I are doing another session in about 2 weeks on supporting emergent writers. So if you're looking to support some of those beginning kiddos, we have plenty of resources for you. Wanted to really delve into the brainstorming and writing piece with voice notes, word prediction, clicker board, frames and planners, and talk sets today. I see we have a question. Thank you. Perfect. That's great. Okay, now we have about 15 minutes left, so I want to start to wrap up, and I want to talk to you guys about the collaboration that Kristen and I have been working on between Crick Software and SETC through SETC's lending library. So there we go. We have worked together to make Clicker available through SETC's lending library to give Washington districts access to Clicker. And so we're offering individual trials, school trials, as well as district trials. So the individual trial would be, you're thinking 1 student and potentially 1 staff to support that student. We have a school trial, which is anywhere between 10 to 20 students and staff in a single building, as well as the district trial where you have 20 or more staff and students across the district that you think would be able to use Clicker as a solution. As I said, this is a collaboration, and the trials that Washington districts are getting through collaboration with CETC are very different from the trials that we offer through Crick Software. Through Crick Software, we're offering a max of 6 weeks to trial Clicker. Through this collaboration, we've learned that districts probably require a bit more time to prove that in-district efficacy. So through CETC's lending library, if you're interested in a trial, you can get access for up to 6 months. And again, the purpose is to get the data required to prove efficacy prior to purchase. You get access to the full Clicker suite, so that includes Clicker for Windows or Mac computers, as well as the Clicker apps for iPad and Chromebook. Again, those include Clicker Writer, Clicker Books, and Clicker Talk.